because I don't have enough hobbies in my life. Let's start a new one. So now we're actually going to be starting off with a very new hobby, quilting. This is my first attempt. I'm not much of a sewist. I do not have a sewing machine, so I will be hand quilting all of this, and I've already started. Now it's very rough. The first project I'm making is a pretty small one, and it's not for it to be perfect, but it's more for it to just see if I can do it before I hop into the real big project that I have planned in my mind. I actually picked up this book from Maiwa on Granville Island, and it is Farms and Folk Quilt Alchemy by Sarah Larson Buscaglia. I'm so bad with names. And I've decided to start on the smaller side. The first thing I'm going to be quilting is my very own little hand quilting tool roll. It is just going to be this little kind of project bag where I can put all of my notions and tools for quilting. So the inside is very simple. It's just like a flat pocket with a flat back, but where it's very interesting is on the outside. That's where the quilting happens, because it will resemble like this once it is done. So the fabric that I'm using will not be the flat black and white. I just went with some random fabric that I had that I thought the colors kind of work together, but I'm just kind of learning what the techniques are. So this is a very hodgepodge project. So yeah. Now I'm in the process of making the outside fabric. So I have 6 squares made so far. I need to make 21, 22, I believe. I have a lot to go. I think it takes me 2 hours to make 4. So that's 30 minutes to make 1. It's not too bad. Again, all hand sewed, so. Now I know before I had said I needed to make 21 squares, but I relooked at my book and turns out I need to make 24, so I was off by 3. But basically what I'm making is some snowball quilts. Well, the snowball block is actually a lesser known design and it isn't really common in quilting techniques, but it is the one that the pattern uses, so I did decide to go with that one, although this one did ask for a lot of cutting. It's a lot of cutting because essentially you try to make like a round shape with squares. So you make a bigger square and then in each corner place a smaller square so that you can then sew the edges of the square to then cut it off. You're cutting off the corners so that when you unfold the smaller squares on top of the bigger one, or the now weird triangle shapes, you'll be left with a kind of like hexagon shape. I'm gonna show you guys, but basically I needed to repeat this 24 times. So this process here did take me a couple of days to create. Now that I had finally finished all 24 of my snowballs, I was able to iron them flat and finally open them up to see exactly what they looked like. And then I laid them out and tried to do a little puzzle piece, figuring out which one went beside which one, making sure that the center fabric didn't like match with the one following, but at the same time I really tried to not get, because a few of them had white fabric, I really tried to make sure that the snowballs next to each other didn't have the same white fabric and that those were as spaced out as possible, but still kind of looking like planned. I then numbered them and pinned them into long strips before sewing them all together. been a hot minute. Yes, I'm still working on the quilt. So this is what it looks like right now. I have 4 of these panels that I need to sew up together to create a much larger rectangle. I've sewn all of the snowballs together, put it in stripes, sewed them again, and then pressed them down on the back. So all my seams are pressed and they are as flat as can be. I basically just quickly mocked up what I would want in my stripes so that like no colors matched, like we're directly side by side. And so that is kind of where I'm at with the project. I have realized that obviously with quilting, measuring is super important because look how wonky this is. I knew that from the get-go, from starting this project, this wouldn't be an award-winning quilt. I was kind of heading more into this just with the main goal to learn a new hobby, learn a new trick, learn new trades, learn new, like, this is a lot of first. Hence why I went with such a wacky color palette. It does make me happy, it makes me keep going, and now I do feel a little bit more ready for a bigger quilt project, and I'm aware of some challenges with quilting that I wouldn't have known to pay attention to when first starting. So I think that this is an amazing beginner project and I just want to get it done so that I can start something else. But at the same time, I'm really enjoying this. It's so much more like quiet than knitting, although knitting is a very quiet sport. It's just like stimulating a different piece of my brain. Knitting takes over like one quiet zone. Quilting and hand sewing, it's like a different zone in my brain. I have no idea if any of that made sense, but that's kind of where I'm at. So today, my new goal is to sew these together and have all 4 rows sewed up so that I can have one giant sheet, and that'll be the outside of the case. Now, I am still, just like I did with each square, I basically gave a 1/3 of an inch, that much seam allowance, and then I folded it. Here you can kind of see it. I folded it and ironed it down, but basically you sew them like this so that when you open it, that's how you get a really nice seam. So I'm gonna put on some YouTube and get to sewing. Oh my god! Ah! This looks so good. This is making me, like, giddy. I guess that's the word. It's making me giddy. Ah! Okay. Now, time for some batting. So I have this 8 ounces of fiber filling, nothing fancy, the cheapest one, probably too much. This is too much for this, but yeah, just wanted something very simple. So now I need to do something that is called basting. See page 164. Quilt has 3 layers consisting of the quilt back, the batting, and the quilt top. A quilt sandwich is the first step in uniting 3 layers. My favorite types of batting are organic cotton wool. Well, I have polyester. With the wrong side of the quilt back facing up, tape it to a hard surface with masking or painter's tape, pulling it taut but not overly taut. Cut a piece of batting the same size as the backing and spread it over, smoothing out. Oh my god, this is so hot. Okay, let's go get some scissors. Oh, and actually unplug you before Albert gets made. I actually never finished explaining what a quilting sandwich is, so here I'm going to try to do it. But basically, you take the bottom fabric that you're going to use on like the inside of your quilt, and I taped it to the floor so that it is flat as can be and as straight as can be, so that there are no like bubbles or popping in my quilt. Then you lay the batting or the filling, and on top of that, I put my quilted fabric that I hand stitched together. That is the actual quilting like topper. And essentially you pin all of these pieces together so that you can then sew the 3 together so they don't like split up. And then you can actually do your quilt design in this, the extra stitches on the top. Just got back from the fabric shop because I bought a new rotary cutter. The one I had to put a lot of force into it, and I'm almost done certain parts of my quilt. So I'm thinking, let's just invest in a really good one. I should have done this from the start. My sister even told me, buy a good one first. Don't waste your money on the $20 one. I bought the $20 one. I saw a TikTok yesterday that really resonated with me, and it was actually buy it nice or buy it twice. Instead of like buying the cheap equipment and then later on upgrading, which is what I usually normally do, why not just buy it once? Just do it well. There we go. I also got a felt lining for the pocket on the inside. It's just like a flap so that you could put all your knitting sewing needles into it. And then I had to get a new fat quarter. I picked the plainest. Oh, these are faces. Oh my god, I didn't know. Okay, well, I picked the plainest color that they had in the fat quarters, and it turns out to be women with different hairdos, which is kind of fun and cool. Oh, I actually kind of like this. The book said to follow the quilt like method, which is like sandwiching, which is you have your quilt fabric, you have your stuffing, and then you have your fabric on the outside to be the whatever. But so I did that, and I was sewing as if through 3 layers. I reread the book this morning after finishing nearly the whole thing. Turns out for this particular project, I was supposed to sew 2 layers together and not have the 3rd layer, the back, be part of the design, because basically when you look at the pouch inside out, you're not going to see the stitches on that one on the inside, if that makes sense. Sandwich basting, I think that's what it's called. And I was sewing all 3 together. This one is not supposed to have, you can see here the like stitches, the design. So I'm gonna cover it with the white. We're gonna cover it, and I'm gonna have a new inside fabric. And that's that. So my bag will most likely be a little bit thicker, and so will the quilt, because instead of having 3 fabrics, I'll have 4, and already I'm using a polyamide quilt instead of the one that they recommended, because my fabric shop just had this type of polyamide quilt. I didn't want to order one online. I kind of just wanted to use what I could get. I'm gonna have a thicker bag, which we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's finish the hand stitching for now. This is what it kind of looks like. I like it. Very fun, very chaotic. I finished the batting of my quilt. So this is what it looks like, and it looks really cool on the inside. I love the texture. I love the fact that some of the stripes go this way and some it's like a crisscross along with the panels on the front. I don't know. I find this really cool. See, you can see it better in this lighting. It's like a bunch of ladies with like cool hairstyles. I really like it. And I swear, when I bought this, I thought it was just random swirls. It wasn't until I opened it up. But whatever. Inside my bag is gonna have some cool haired ladies. And I think that that's gonna be really nice to have a lighter color with this vibrant compared to what it was before this yellow. The reason why I went with this yellow was because it was the only yellow that I had in fat quarters, because this is all random fabrics that I have and I wasn't planning on using. I basically just regrouped similar color palettes, strawberries. This one has like little pine cones on it, the white, which was added because I ran out of the other two colors. You're supposed to have only two main opposite textures on the outside, but whatever. For right now, I've been hand stitching and sewing these for the last like 2 hours. I think I'm kind of done sewing for today, or for right now at least, and I'll get back to it tomorrow. I also need to press this fabric out and I need to cut. I bought a felt, just like a brown piece of felt. I need to measure and cut that. So I think for tonight, this is gonna be it on this one, but I'm really happy that I'm almost done. Like, I'm done the quilting part essentially. Now it's just the construction and putting it all together, which is very cool. So hopefully we can do that tomorrow morning. What I wanted to do right now is get back into knitting a little bit. I started these socks on my way to Flock in the car just to have a little project to knit with me because it was a 2.5, almost 3 hour drive. And this is what the sock looks like. It's just a 2x2 rib. I'm not following a pattern or anything, and I'm kind of drafting it up as I'm knitting up the sock. There's like a dot from my crystal like disco ball that it keeps hitting me right in the face. This is where I'm at with my quilted knitting sewing case, and this is the quilting back. And this morning what I managed to do is actually hand sew the inner like pocket. So here I made little pocket dividers for different equipment that I'm going to be stashing away, kind of like my rotary cutter would fit in the pocket. I made little pen slots and other different types of slots. This little felt panel here is basically for needles, so I can just put needles directly in there and have them stored. And there's also a pocket, and the instruction does call for a leather strap so that when you do close it, you can like tie it. I'm gonna have to find something, unless I use a yarn. Not a plastic. So I just found like this little bag here that has a drawstring, and I think I'm just going to remove the drawstring out of it and use this as my string. Yeah, why not? Reuse. I just finished hand sewing the two panels together. So this is going to be the last time that we will be seeing this fabric, this texture, and this side of the women with the faces or with the hairs. And basically right now I sewed all around. It probably took me like an hour and a half to hand sew all of this. I'm pretty slow. And I did leave a gap right here, a little space. So I'm gonna pull that inside out and we're gonna see what exactly this looks like. How exactly do they do it? Turn the piece to the right side through the opening, push the corners out, press gently, press opening, seam allowance to the inside and sew it neatly closed. Oh, and that's it. Okay. The last step, number 17. So it just says to push to the right. How do I get this inside out? I mean, it said to leave 3 inches. I left 4 inches, so I can actually fit my hand in here. I'm gonna see if I can just like pull it. Can I? I saw at the store they had like these sticks to kind of like poke your edges in and out. I don't have anything like that laying around, huh? Because like, how do I get this out? I don't have a stick. Ooh, maybe I could. Okay. Maybe I could use this PVC pipe from my frame and just like push it out, because basically I just want to gently push it out and not rip anything. As I say that, you hear it rip. So scary. Let's see. The stick that I'm talking about, it's more like a flat curved, kind of like a little hockey stick, and you just like poke it around, whereas this pipe won't get a neat fold. Oh, I could use a knife. Okay, well, whatever. I could have used a butter knife. Okay, I'm gonna have to iron it, but I think this actually looks super, super cute. Just get the edges. I need to go show Helper. Okay, I'm gonna go iron this, finish the little finishings, and show you guys what it looks like.
It's too loud. Turn it down and come over and do it myself.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's the end of the day, and I really wanted to show you guys this a little bit earlier when the sun was still nice and pretty. This project just took me a little bit longer than I thought it would today, but I'm really, really happy about it, and I'm super amazed, and I can't believe that I finally got this done, and I now have my own little sewing case, and this is what it looks like. I mean, isn't this the cutest little thing ever? So let's open it up. This is what it looks like on the inside. So here I have my little pen. I have a little, what is this? To put your thread, to thread your needles. Why am I forgetting all my words? I have a little lint remover, that's what it is, right here. And then my little felted tip with all of my needles, my rotary cutter. I can't say that word. Rotary cutter. Anyways, so I have that there. It all fits beautifully, and I have more pockets and more room to add more stuff as my sewing hobby grows. I'm really happy with the color palette I was able to go with on the inside, the yellow and the brown. I just really like it. And this is actually the same fabric that was under this one. That's what it is. It's the same one. I ended up having extra. I found it in like a stash. So it came back. It's still in the project and it's still visible. So it's hidden, but it's also on the outside. And the most stunning, important piece of all, though, is, of course, the quilt on the back. This is very loud, very chaotic, but I love it. I think that this is such a fun quilt. And I love the fact that on the orange it goes vertically, and then on the strawberries it goes horizontal, and it just adds a lot of fun to the outside of the quilt. I got a little demotivated at some point because I was like, this looks like throw up. This is too much color, but also some of my corners, like here, I think this is my favorite corner because it does not align whatsoever. But I feel like that with the hand stitching really adds to the charm, and it really shows like it's homemade, handmade. And it's very unique, very me, and I really, really like it. I'm so proud of myself right now, thinking that this is my first like official full only sewing project, and at the same time my first ever quilt. I've never quilted anything before, so this definitely gives me confidence to do my big dream quilt, which is what I'm hoping to get into next. Now thinking maybe I could do more sewing or something else with sewing. But anyways, this is my quilt. This is my little hand sewn tool case. I'm really, really happy with it. I'm really proud of it. And I can't believe I learned a new hobby in 2025. Crazy. I did not put this on my bingo card. To be fair, I did not make a bingo card. Maybe I should next year. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you so much for joining along. This was a very new field for me, a very new market, a very new pool. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as I did, and let me know in the comment section down below if you'd be interested in more sewing, in more quilting, in more different hobbies. I don't know, maybe I'm embarking on something. Of course, knitting is my love, my passion, and that'll never change. But according to Justin Bieber, never say never. I will fight. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making this. Have a lovely, beautiful day. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.